Hi everybody, welcome to a new episode of your Friedrichcast. I am Gary and here I am once again. Today I am going to talk about one of my favorite movies ever, which also means one of the best movies ever produced on Earth. Alright, I'm talking about, you know that, no surprise, you read the title of this episode. I'm talking about Castaway with Tom Hanks. Well, maybe if you're still kind of lost about what movie is it that I'm going to discuss today, because of the translation and stuff, in Brazil, they call it, people call it, we call it, O Náufrago, or just Náufrago. I am not sure. But the original title, now you know. If you didn't, now you know. It's Cast Away, because this is basically what happens to the main character, that is the main character of the movie, played by Tom Hanks. And yeah, this is it. And why didn't I say before, you should go grab a cup of coffee, tea, beer, whatever it takes for you to relax and join me in this one more time, I hope, uplifting, interesting, cool conversation. So let us just do it. Well, one of the most interesting things about this movie is, in my opinion, the before I get there, let me just say, the movie, in case you haven't seen that, this episode will contain lots of spoilers, okay? So if you still plan to watch it and you hate spoilers, well, it's a shame, but I really suggest you pause this episode and return here after you finish watching the movie. All right? So from now on, it's up to you. Don't tell me I didn't tell you, okay? So the movie's about a man who works in a top position in the company, an American delivery shipping company called FedEx. Yeah, you probably heard about it or saw it. I am not sure if they're operating in Brazil. I believe they are, but it's quite recent. And truth of the matter is the company grew a lot. It's a private delivery shipping company. When I say shipping, ladies and gentlemen, it means they deliver stuff overseas. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Just like the Correios do in Brazil. Okay, so it's a kind of Correios but private. All right. So yeah, this is it. This is about this man. He works for FedEx. He's a kind of a manager guy there, shouting orders and helping out his colleagues to get organized. You know, he's one of the bosses in the company. All right. So he's constantly traveling around the world to teach people, to tell people, to show people how to do stuff in the company, to his colleagues and subordinates. And he's a very workaholic man. This is the correct word. He's a workaholic. And in a gigantic turn of events, I'm going to go more detail about it further on this episode. But in a drastic change of tables, he ends up stranded on a desert island, okay, alone. A desert island with no animals other than himself, of course, and some crabs and fish, of course, you know, and the sea life, all right. Some insects, of course, and birds, but nothing other than that. No other people, no contact or interaction with other human beings. And he stays there for a little bit over 2 years. Okay, so this is what the movie is about. Okay, and before you say or think or try to say or write down in the comment section below, Well, it's probably a quite boring movie. It's about a man alone. There's little to no interaction at all between people in the movie. No action, no stuff. Hold your horses, man. Because you just don't know what you're talking about. Okay, if you're saying that, you probably didn't see the movie yet. So I really hope you will. If you still hold that opinion. But the movie is much more than the eyes can see, than it meets the eyes at a first time. I have watched this movie many times so far, and I still plan on watching it more and more. I want my kids to watch it with me in the future, especially when they're old enough to understand some concepts that are, I'm not gonna say approached in the movie, but are inevitably that inevitably happen in the movie. Like loneliness, for example. Society never discusses loneliness. What is it like being alone for over a year, for example, with zero contact with other people? What does it do to our brain, to our psyche? Okay, I'm not psychologist or any expert in that area, but I can't help but wonder, because you may say, well, it's almost impossible unless you're stranded on a desert island, as the character of the movie. Unless that is the case, you're not gonna stay a year without talking to people. Yeah, I agree with you. If you're not stranded on a desert island, you're not gonna stay, more than, I don't know, a week without having people to interact with. That's a fact. But the level of the impact of that a year of isolation, we could use it to measure the impact of days of isolation or other kinds of social isolation, if you know what I mean. I think there is as I said, it's not that the movie brings deliberately the topic, but you can't help but wonder, and here's the most interesting thing to me about this movie. The very fact that this movie is a huge success. It's one of the most seen and talked movies ever, and watched movies ever. One of the best, if not the best, that Tom Hanks works in. The very fact that the movie is quite successful is the reason behind it, in my opinion, is that it is so easy for us to connect with the movie. Why is it so easy for us to connect with the movie if 99.99999%, not to say almost every human being on earth, never even came close to a situation like that? So why is it so easy for us to connect? According to me, at least. Why is it so easy? Because it is easy for each and every one of us. And if you saw the movie, you're probably gonna be nodding right now, like agreeing with me, moving your head up and down, agreeing with me right now, because that's about the fact that it is almost inevitable for anybody, for anyone, to watch that movie, and wonder and ask yourself the following question: What if it were me? What if I was in a situation like that? What would I do were I stranded on a desert island? Would I go crazy? Would I fight for my survival as the character did? The character fights, You may not recognize that at the first time, but when you rewatch the movie, and I strongly recommend you to rewatch the movie when you can. Pay attention to that point. The character does really put a big effort on surviving, and this is really something we keep wondering, we keep thinking about, asking ourselves, like, would I do the same? Would I do better? Or more likely, worse? Would I just stand there and wait for death to come pay a visit? Yeah, I've been asking myself that question for as long as I've been watching that movie and have been thinking about that movie, you know? So this is the deepest point, the deepest aspect of that movie. And for me specifically, this is one of the reasons why I really love that. I really enjoy that movie. Truth for the matter, I love Tom Hanks. I think he's a fantastic actor. And I can't remember any movie in which he is in that it's not at least a decent movie. You know, not all of them are great movies, but if Tom Hanks is there, it is at least a decent movie. But the vast majority is great. You know, with the Tom Hanks movies. So yeah, this is it. Another inevitably clear approach that the movie brings to present us to more than that, to confront us with, is the notion of time that people in the modern world, people in the world today have. Okay, I do have this notion. You probably do have that notion as well. That is like we racing the clock, we running against the clock. We're always trying to do miracles. We're always pushed by society, by people around us, by your friends, by your boss, of course, but not only by them, also by the ones who live with you, your partner, wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend, to run against the time, run against the clock, right? So we're forced today to have to multitask, as they say, and of course that's the profile of the main character, the Tom Hanks's main character. I don't remember his name right now, but I'm just checking here. It is Chuck Nolan. Yeah, Chuck Nolan. That's what he's doing, ladies and gentlemen. He's racing time, you know, working his butt off to get the packs delivered. And then, ironically, God or the destiny or life or whatever you call it, you know, puts him in a place where time literally does not matter. Literally is in a place where time is literally irrelevant. At least the time on a modern concept, on this modern concept I'm talking about. So it makes impossible for us to watch it, as I said, maybe not in the first time or even in the second time, but after the third time you watch the movie and you start talking to people who saw that movie multiple times as well, it is almost impossible not to pay attention to that, to not wonder, as I said, not think about it and start, you know, reconsidering a few actions of your life. I don't want to talk about these actions. I want you to reflect on it, to think about it, and to tell yourself what are the priorities of your life, what are not the priorities of your life, and then work with them. You know, I'm not telling you should become a hippie or hipster or whatever. Of course not. I am not a hipster myself. Never will, probably, hopefully. But I'm telling you that, well, the things that I'm gonna use myself as an example, say are urgent, are not that urgent 95% of the times. And yet we're there running and racing the clock, jeopardizing our mental health, jeopardizing our physical health in order to I don't know, even in order to what? In order to survive, you know? We have that, society has that, and the movie is, in my opinion, in my reading, my understanding of the movie, a big criticism towards that. Alright, now a few curiosities and interesting information about the movie, starting off with production and filming. Real-time weight loss. Tom Hanks lost around 22.7 kilos for the role. Filming was shut down for a year so he could realistically portray the physical transformation of the character after years on an island. Filming in two phases. The first half of the movie, before and just after the crash, was filmed, then production stopped for about a year. During that time, Tom Hanks lost weight and grew out his hair and beard. Zemeckis shot another movie, What Lies Beneath, during this break. Yeah, Zemeckis is the director of the movie. Remote island. The island where Chuck is stranded is Monariki, part of Fiji's Mamanuca Islands. It is inhabited and has since become a tourist attraction thanks to the movie. No surprise. Iconic elements. Wilson the volleyball. The volleyball Chuck befriends Wilson was actually created in partnership with Wilson Sporting Goods, which provided the prop. It became so iconic that it was nominated for Best Inanimate Objects at the MTV Movie Awards. Wilson was improvised. The idea of giving Chuck a companion in the form of a volleyball came during script development as a way to show his descent into loneliness and to provide a way for him to speak without constant voiceover or narration. Emotional impact. Despite being a volleyball, Wilson's death in the film is widely considered one of the most emotional scenes, and it's often referenced in pop culture. That's true. Minimal dialogue. There is very little spoken dialogue for almost an hour of the movie, an unusual choice for a mainstream film. This heightens the sense of isolation. No score on the island. There is no musical score during the scenes on the island, helping to enhance the realism and solitude of Chuck's experience. FedEx Corporation. FedEx cooperated with the filmmakers but did not pay for product placement. The film helped boost their global brand recognition significantly. Award recognition. Tom Hanks was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actor for his performance. He had previously won Oscars in Philadelphia and Forrest Gump. Box office. The movie was a commercial success, grossing over $430 million worldwide on a budget of around $90 million. Yeah, so, as I said, if you never saw that movie, I really believe you should, and don't worry, because despite there are spoilers in that movie, this is a movie with no big surprises other than the synopsis itself. Of course, the plane crashes is the only turn of events, the only surprise. So it's you know that the movie's called Castaway, so you know this is gonna happen. So there's no big surprises, as I said, at all. So you should totally go watch the movie and watch that movie, because the experience is unique. Everyone will have a different perception. This is my opinion, guys, okay? I really believe that everyone should have or will have a different perspective and absorption, for lack of a better word, of the feeling that the movie displays and passes to us, to the spectators. So I really believe you should watch it. It's worth it. So just don't waste your time. It's still time. Go watch it today. Have your family around. It's a cool movie to watch with kids, with very little to none graphic elements at all. Okay, so you You're okay, you should be fine. Your kids, provided that they're 6 or 7 years or older, they're gonna be fine. Maybe they're not gonna enjoy that, they're gonna find it boring, but yeah, you will. Believe me. So thank you very much for your lovely company. One more time, this is all for this episode. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.